It's hardly very often where I get shocked by anything anymore, but that changed today as breaking news from ESPN's Brady Henderson. The Seahawks are releasing linebacker Tyrel Dodson. Welcome in to this special edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you up to speed on this move as well as the corresponding roster moves Seattle made here on this Monday. Let's start with this news from Brady Henderson of ESPN, posting the following on X. Another major shakeup to the Seahawks inside linebacking core. I'm told they plan to release Tyrel Dodson, who started all 9 games this season. Henderson went on to add, this move clears the way for either fourth-round rookie Tyrice Knight or Drake Thomas to play weak side linebacker with newly acquired Ernest Jones IV now playing middle linebacker. This, my friends, is a head-scratcher. What the hell is John Schneider doing here? What is Mike Macdonald doing with this move? The speculation is that the Seahawks were looking to bench Tyrel Dodson in favor of Tyrice Knight. That's one thing. But then to just straight up release Tyrel Dodson and say, yeah, you know what? Let's just move on from you. We're better off with not having you here than to have you here as a backup. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And here's the other thing. He goes to waivers, and at the time of this recording, hasn't been claimed off waivers just yet. But with that in mind, you still owe him money if he does not get claimed off waivers by somebody else. You rather pay him, you're putting this risk out there, to not play for you than to pay him to play on your football squad. How does that make any sense at all? Spotrac putting this out, giving a little perspective on the numbers here. Tyrel Dodson signed a 1-year, $4.26 million contract with the Seahawks that included $1.25 million in incentives. If Dodson clears waivers, Seattle will still owe him $4 million per his outright release. Now, in corresponding moves, this is what Seattle did. Brandon Pili, the nose tackle formerly of the Miami Dolphins, has been claimed off waivers to provide some depth to the defensive line. Well, corner Josh Jobe, who Mike Macdonald has been very high on, and they like him to potentially take Trey Brown's spot at that starting outside corner spot. He's been promoted to the active roster. And then K'Von Wallace, the safety position, has been moved to injured reserve. So now what does Seattle's linebacker room look like with these moves that were made? Ernest Jones IV is your starting middle linebacker. It's pretty safe to assume he will take on the green dot role now, which was previously held by Tyrel Dodson. And Dodson, even though he was moved to the weak side linebacker spot, he was still the green dot, but you would think that would change now. We'll probably go to Jones now. Knight, I would expect to slide into the starting weak side linebacker spot. Hall and Jones holding down the outside linebacker spots. We'll also see more of Drake Thomas as well, I would imagine. But even with that said, make it make sense. Why are we letting go of Tyrel Dodson? I get it. If you felt more confident in Tyrice Knight and said, you know what, let's give the rook a shot, okay, I can live with that. But just to straight up release him, look, not a lot has changed in the last couple of weeks. If you felt this way about Tyrel Dodson, why didn't you trade him before the trade deadline? Damn it! He's your leading tackler. Granted, that is the most, I would say, overrated stat to be leading something in. But still, he's your leading tackler. And I understand some of you are going to say, well, you know, he wasn't always reading the right gaps and following his assignments and all that. But I still felt he brought more good than bad. Were we really down that bad on Tyrel Dodson? Just straight up release him? Please, make it make sense. John Schneider, Mike Macdonald, you got some explaining to do. You owe the 12s a statement and a clear reason why you have made this decision. I think I'm being fair when I say that. Should the Seahawks have kept Tyrel Dodson? 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seahawks Today. Whenever the Seahawks make a move, good or bad or ugly, We talk about it here on the channel. We're closing in on 60,000 subscribers. We need your help. Sub it up, youtube.com/Seahawks TV for the latest happenings in your favorite team all season long. Now, if you recall, we go back to the offseason, and the Seahawks did not bring back Bobby Wagner. They did not bring back Jordan Brooks. And Mike Macdonald made a big point of emphasis that they wanted to improve the linebacker room, specifically with coverage linebackers. Fast forward to, what are we, week 10 in the NFL coming off the bye week. And the two guys that Mike Macdonald wanted, Tyrel Dodson and Jerome Baker, are already gone. That's not a great sign. Granted, I do like the addition of Ernest Jones, but those were Macdonald's guys. And we're already saying goodbye? That's not great, folks. You look at Tyrel Dodson. This is what the Seahawks were bringing in just a few months ago. The second highest graded linebacker, according to Pro Football Focus, just a season ago, with an 89.5 overall grade. A young player that was just, you could argue, just now entering his prime years of his career, coming off his first few seasons with the Buffalo Bills. And there was reason to be optimistic from what we saw last year in Buffalo when he took over that starting role. We mentioned the high grade. He had 74 tackles, 8 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. And this season, we mentioned leading the team in tackles, 2 sacks, 5 TFLs, and 1 forced fumble. I thought there was reason to be optimistic about where Tyrel Dodson was going from here. Coverage grade solid, 73.3. I think that's what you were looking for from help in the coverage spot. Pass rush grade was okay, 64. Overall grade, 65.8. Run defense grade, not great at 52. But my goodness, this was a shocker, folks. More to come here on Seahawks Today and where Seattle goes from here in just a moment. But want to take a few seconds to tell you about today's sponsor. That is Public Rec. I am wearing a Public Rec shirt. And I got to tell you, not only does it look good, but I feel fantastic wearing it. It's so comfortable. I got the pants on, too. The pants, I got to tell you, folks, extremely comfortable as well. Let's be real, guys. Wearing pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric, squeezing your family jewels, was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Day Maker Pants are here to make sure you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but look like tailored pants. Yup, super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker Pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. I got to say, holiday season's around the corner. I hope my dad's not watching because, Dad, I think I'm going to have to get you some Public Rec, whether it's the shirt or the pants. Dad's going to love it. You'll want to get these for Dad or Grandpa or Uncle, whoever it may be for the holiday season, folks. You want to take care of them with Public Rec. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect-fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season for a limited time only. Our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. Now, here's the thing. If you're the Seattle Seahawks here, if you're going to make a bold move like this, you better be pretty damn confident that the Rook, Tyrice Knight, is going to deliver. These are big shoes to fill for Tyrice Knight. We haven't seen a ton of Tyrice Knight in 2024, if we're going to be honest with you. Just 125 snaps on defense so far this year. He's played in 8 games with 2 starts. He's got 73 starts in snaps, on special teams this season. The majority of what we saw from Tyrice Knight as far as what was pretty promising was what he did in training camp in the preseason. He was one of the talks of the town for Seattle with how well he performed and how well he was coming along, as he was thought to be kind of a project player coming out of UTEP. A really good tackler, led the nation in solo tackles at UTEP a season ago, but had work to do when it came to being that coverage linebacker Seattle was looking for. But obviously, Mike Macdonald and company like what they're seeing from Tyrice Knight. So far this season, his tackling numbers have included 23 total tackles and 1 TFL so far this season. But you compare his PFF grades to the likes of Tyrel Dodson, and they're not really close to Dodson's numbers. His overall grade is a 57.3 compared to Dodson, who's got a 65.8. His run defense grade is much better, though, than Dodson, a 64.9 compared to a 52.0 from Dodson. Pass rush grade almost identical, a 64.4 for Knight and a 64.0 for Dodson. But this is the one that kind of makes you shake your head a little bit. We talked about the emphasis on coverage, right? And how that was a big point of emphasis for Mike Macdonald. Tyrice Knight, his coverage grade is not good at all. Granted, small sample size. So you give him the benefit of the doubt on that, a 48.2, compared to Dodson, who had a very solid grade of a 73.3 in coverage there. So let's ask you now, do you believe in Tyrice Knight? Do you think he can get the job done? Is the rookie ready to answer the call for the Seattle Seahawks? Chime in, let us know. Type B for believe, D for don't. Let us know if you're all in on Knight or not. Thanks for joining us here on this special breaking news edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.